You are a thief, a wicked, heartless thief. The words tore through the crowded market like thunder. Everyone stopped. Traders abandoned their stalls. Shoppers froze mid-step. All eyes turned toward the commotion near the fabric section. An old woman, thin as a branch, stood trembling with rage. Her finger pointed straight at Aminata Cole, the famous Instagram angel, the girl everyone called Sierra Leone's blessing. The woman's voice cracked with pain and fury. You took money meant for my grandson's surgery. You collected donations and kept everything. My boy died because of you. Aminata's perfectly made-up face went pale. Her phone, which she'd been holding up for a selfie seconds ago, dropped to her side. Around her, whispers started spreading like spilled water. Is it true? That's Aminata, right? The charity girl. Wait, what's happening? The old woman wasn't finished. Tears streamed down her weathered cheeks. You came to our house with your camera. You cried with us. You promised help. Then you posted my dying grandson online and collected thousands of dollars. We never saw one, Leon. That's when everything changed. Comment where you are watching from. 4 months earlier, Aminata had been nobody special. She was 24, living in a cramped apartment in Freetown with her aunt and 3 cousins. Every morning she watched girls younger than her posting luxury trips, designer clothes, and expensive dinners online. They had thousands of followers, brand deals, respect. What did she have? A diploma she couldn't use and a job selling phone credits at a tiny shop. But there was something else eating at her, something that kept her up at night. Her younger sister, Marama, was sick, really sick. The doctor said she needed kidney treatment that cost more than their entire family could earn in 2 years. Marama was only 19, studying at the university, full of dreams. We'll find a way, Aminata promised her sister at the hospital, but she had no idea how. That evening, scrolling through Instagram in desperation, Aminata's thumb stopped on a video. A Nigerian influencer was giving money to a street beggar. The comments section overflowed with praise. God will reward you. Angels exist. This brought tears to my eyes. The video had 3 million views. 3 million. An idea formed. Dark, but maybe necessary. What if she could use social media to raise money for Marama? What if she documented charity work, built a following, and then launched a fundraiser people would actually trust? She wasn't planning to become a fraud, not at first. The next day, she withdrew her entire savings, 500,000 leons, barely enough for anything significant. She stopped at a market where she knew homeless people gathered. A man with one leg sat on a cardboard mat begging. "Excuse me, sir." Aminata approached with her phone already recording. "What's your name?" "Muhammad, my sister." "Muhammad, today is your lucky day. God sent me to help you." She placed the money in his hands. His eyes went wide. Real gratitude filled his face. He didn't know this was every lien she had. "God bless you," he said, voice shaking. Aminata smiled at the camera. "We should always help each other. That's what being Sierra Leonean means. Stay blessed, everyone." She posted the video that night with the caption, "Sometimes all someone needs is hope." When she woke up, her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 2,000 new followers, 57 Tyson comments. The video had been shared 892 times. Finally, someone with a real heart. "My sister, you're doing God's work. How can we support your mission?" Aminata stared at her screen, heart pounding. This could work. This could save Marama. Within days, she posted another video, then another. Each time, the numbers grew. A week later, a small cosmetics company offered her 2,000 linas to mention their product. But here's where things started shifting. Marama's next hospital bill came. The treatment Aminata could now afford bought her sister 2 more months, maybe 3. But the real solution, a transplant, still seemed impossible. The money from one brand deal didn't last. She needed more content, more videos, more desperate people to film. She hired Ibrahim, a young man who owned a decent camera. "I need someone to film my charity work," she told him, professional quality. "How much does it pay?" "Enough, and you'll be part of something good." Ibrahim agreed. He had bills to pay and a pregnant wife at home. For the first few videos, things seemed legitimate. Aminata would find struggling people and give them small amounts, always less than she claimed, but something. She'd count money on camera, but hand over half that amount when filming stopped. The followers kept growing. 10,000, then 25,000, then 50,000. Big brands started calling. A telecommunications company wanted her as a brand ambassador. Real money flowed in. Aminata paid for Marama's next 3 treatments, but then Marama's condition worsened. The doctor said without a transplant soon, she had maybe 6 months. Aminata's desperation transformed into something uglier. She tasted success, tasted money, tasted fame. The line between helping Marama and helping herself blurred, then disappeared completely. She moved into a nice apartment, told herself she needed to look successful to attract more sponsors, bought expensive clothes, told herself image mattered in this business. Her videos became more staged, more manipulative, cut. That wasn't emotional enough. She snapped at an elderly woman during a shoot. "I need you to cry. Real tears, you understand." The woman who'd been promised 50,000 Leonir nodded nervously. "Think about something sad, your husband's death. Maybe I need this authentic." Ibrahim adjusted the camera, his stomach twisting. This didn't feel right anymore, but he said nothing. The pay was good and his wife's delivery was approaching. They filmed the scene 5 times before Aminata was satisfied. When they finished, she handed the woman 20,000 Leone. "But you said 50. 20 is what we agreed on." Aminata lied smoothly. "Production costs money. Don't be ungrateful." That video got 100,000 views in one day. Aminata told herself this was all for Marama. Every lie, every manipulation, every stolen Leon, it was all to save her sister. But late at night, looking at her new furniture and expensive makeup, she knew that wasn't entirely true anymore. One evening, Ibrahim came home to find his wife, Adama, crying at their kitchen table. "What's wrong? Is it the baby?" "No." She looked up at him with red eyes. "It's your work. I saw one of those videos you film. My cousin was in it. Aminata promised her money for her children's school fees. She got nothing." Ibrahim, nothing. His blood went cold. "My cousin's children couldn't go to school this term because she was counting on that money. But I saw the video. Aminata claimed she gave her 300,000 Leon. My cousin got 0. Ibrahim sat down heavily. "Adama, you know what she's doing, don't you? You're helping her lie. I need this job. The baby. Don't use our baby as an excuse." Adama's voice broke. "That's somebody else's baby who can't go to school now. How can you sleep knowing that?" Ibrahim couldn't answer. Because truthfully, he wasn't sleeping well, hadn't been for weeks. Meanwhile, Aminata's operation expanded. She had scouts finding good subjects, people who looked pitiful, who had visible disabilities, who could cry easily. She staged elaborate videos. A school supplies donation where the bags were empty except for the few items visible on top. A food distribution where she'd film herself handing out rice, then collect it back once the camera stopped. Then came a close call. During one shoot, a local journalist happened to pass by. He recognized Aminata and approached with his phone recording. "Aminata Cole, I'm from Radio Democracy. Can I ask you a few questions about your charity work?" Aminata's heart nearly stopped, but she kept her smile. "Of course. How do you fund all this? Do you have sponsors, or is this from your own pocket?" "It's a mix. Some generous sponsors and I contribute personally whenever I can." "Can you provide documentation, receipts, beneficiary lists? Our listeners would love to know their donations are going to real people." The smile tightened. "I keep everything organized, but you understand. I protect people's privacy. Many beneficiaries don't want their situations made public, but surely for accountability." "I'm actually in the middle of something urgent right now," Aminata interrupted. "Why don't you send me questions via email? I'll respond properly." She gave him a fake email address and quickly wrapped up filming. That night, she couldn't sleep, terrified the journalist would dig deeper. He didn't. His station ran a puff piece about Saralon's social media angel, but Aminata had felt the danger. She became more careful, more calculated. Then one day, a message appeared in her DM. "My grandson is very sick, liver failure. We need money for surgery. Please, I saw your videos. Can you help?" The message came from an old woman named Hoa. She'd included photos. A young boy, maybe 8 years old, lying in a hospital bed. His skin had a yellowish tint. His eyes looked tired. Aminata stared at the photos. She thought about Marama in her hospital bed. For a moment, genuine empathy stared. Then she saw the opportunity. She visited the hospital with Ibrahim. The footage was perfect. The dying boy, the desperate grandmother, the emotional appeal. Aminata cried real tears on camera. Partly for the boy, partly for her own sister, and partly because she knew this would be her biggest video yet. "My followers," she said, looking directly at the camera with glistening eyes. "I met little Ibrahim today. He's only 8 years old and he's fighting for his life. His grandmother is selling everything she has, but it's not enough. The surgery costs 10 million Leon. I'm starting a fundraiser. Every bit helps. Let's save this child together." She posted the video with a bank account number. The response was massive. Donations poured in from across Sierra Leone, from the diaspora, from strangers around the world who'd seen the video. In 3 days, she'd collected 14 million Leon. Aminata looked at the money. Enough to save little Ibrahim. Enough to pay for Marama's transplant, too. She made a choice. She sent 1 million to Hawa. For now, she promised. The rest is coming once I organize everything properly. The remaining 13 million leones got split. 6 million went to Marama's transplant fund. The rest Aminata kept: a car, apartment upgrades, a trip to Ghana. Ibrahim watched all this happening, his conscience screaming. Adama was due any day now. Every time he looked at his wife's pregnant belly, He thought about little Ibrahim dying in that hospital bed. "I can't do this anymore," he told Aminata one evening after a shoot. "Can't do what this? The lying that boy Ibrahim did. You send the money for his surgery. I sent money, the family is handling the details. How much that's between me and them. How much, Aminata?" She met his eyes coldly. "Remember who pays you. Remember your baby coming. Don't ask questions you don't want answered." Ibrahim went home that night and held Adama close. He said nothing about the conversation, but something had broken inside him. Meanwhile, little Ibrahim's condition worsened. Hawa called Aminata repeatedly. The phone rang unanswered. Messages went unread. 3 weeks after the fundraiser, little Ibrahim died. Hawa buried her grandson with money borrowed from neighbors. The money Aminata promised never came. But Hawa wasn't just grieving. She was angry. She started asking questions, finding others who had appeared in Aminata's videos. Each person had the same story: promises, cameras, lies. She took her evidence to a young journalist named Fatmata Saizi. Fatmata worked for an online newspaper that investigated corruption. When Hawa showed up with testimonies, bank statements, and screenshots, Fat knew she had something big. "Give me time," Fatmata told Hawa. "I'll find the truth." But investigating Aminata proved dangerous. 2 days into her research, Fatmata received a phone call from an unknown number. "Stop looking into Aminata. Call. Who is this? Someone who can make your life very difficult. That girl has friends, powerful friends. Drop this." Fatmata hung up, hands shaking. She'd covered corruption before, but never received direct threats. The next day, her editor called her into his office. "I got a call from someone at the ministry. They're suggesting we drop the Aminata Cole investigation. Why would the ministry care?" Apparently, she's photographed with several officials. They're worried about association damage. "There's also talk of a potential lawsuit if we publish anything unverified. Everything I have is verified. I believe you, but I'm just saying be careful. Make sure your evidence is airtight." That evening, someone tried to break into Fatmata's apartment. She came home to find her door lock damaged, though nothing was taken, a warning. She called her brother, scared. "Maybe you should stop," he said. "This sounds dangerous." Fatmata thought about little Ibrahim, about all the people Aminata had exploited, about how many more victims there would be if someone didn't stop her. "I can't stop, not now." She worked faster, more carefully. She interviewed victims secretly. She tracked down financial records through sources at banks. She built an airtight case. Most crucially, she got to Ibrahim. The videographer had just become a father, holding his newborn daughter, thinking about the children Aminata exploited. Something in him finally snapped. When Fatmata approached him, he broke down. "I have all the raw footage," he confessed, tears in his eyes. "Everything she cut out, all the takes where she's yelling at people, taking things back, counting fake money, everything." "Can I see it?" Ibrahim looked at his sleeping daughter, then at Adama, who nodded encouragement. "Yes, it's time to stop running." Fatmata spent 3 days going through hours of footage. What she saw made her sick, but it also made her determined. She wrote the article carefully, fact-checking every detail. Despite the threats, despite the pressure, she titled it, "The Angel is a Fraud: How Aminata Cole Built an Empire on Lies and Suffering." It published on a Monday morning. By Monday afternoon, Sri Lanka's internet was on fire. The article spread across every platform. The raw footage Ibrahim provided went viral. Radio stations discussed it. TV news picked it up. Aminata's world collapsed in hours. Her Instagram accounts flooded with furious comments before being suspended. Companies demanded refunds. Police announced a fraud investigation. She packed a bag, emptied her bank account, and fled to her grandmother's remote village, Makena. For 3 days, she felt safe. She helped with cooking, fetched water, pretended to enjoy the simple life. Then a trader from Bo recognized her. By evening, everyone knew. The village chief called a meeting under the cotton tree. Aminata stood in the center, surrounded by angry faces. "Is it true?" Parabu asked. "What they're saying about you?" Before Aminata could answer, police vehicles appeared. They handcuffed her in front of the entire village. As officers led her to the truck, she passed Hoa, who traveled hours to be there for the arrest. Their eyes met. Aminata looked away first. The trial lasted 6 weeks. Evidence was overwhelming. Testimonies, bank records, Ibrahim's footage, screenshots, 5 years in prison, restitution from seized assets. When the sentence was read, Aminata broke down completely. Not performed crying, but the sound of someone who gambled everything and lost. Later, she learned that Marama had received a kidney transplant. The 6 million leones Aminata had sent, combined with donations from people who heard about his sister trying to save her sibling, had been enough. Marama survived, but she refused to visit Aminata in prison. "You didn't do it for me," she wrote in her only letter. "You did it for yourself and used me as an excuse." 3 years later, in a small apartment in Freetown, a 17-year-old girl named Blessing sat on her bed scrolling through her phone. She had 56 followers. Her last post got 9 likes. Nobody knew her name. But she'd been watching videos, success stories, influencers who made it big, and archived content from someone called Aminata, the old videos before everything went bad. She looked at those early videos, the homeless man receiving money, the grateful faces, the thousands of comments praising the giver. Blessing thought about her own family struggles, her father's medical bills, her younger siblings who needed school fees. What if she could help them? What if she could build something like this, but do it right this time? She opened her camera app. Outside her window, the Freetown street buzzed with evening activity. Somewhere out there, someone needed help, someone who could make good content. Her finger hovered over the record button. The city held its breath, and the cycle waited to see if it would turn again. And that's the story of Aminata, the angel who fell from grace. Her story is a warning to all of us. In this age of social media, it's easy to chase likes and followers, to want the glamorous life we see online. But remember, real success built on lies will always crumble. Authentic impact doesn't need filters or fake performances. If this story touched you, opened your eyes, or taught you something valuable, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You're joining a community that values real stories with real lessons. Stories that matter. Stories from Africa. Stories that reflect our reality. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe it's a friend chasing internet fame, someone struggling with temptation, or just anyone who loves powerful African storytelling. This story could change someone's path. Drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from and what lesson hit you the hardest. Did Aminata's fall shock you? Do you think Blessing will make the same mistakes? I read every single comment and your thoughts matter. To my incredible subscribers who've been here supporting this channel, thank you. You make this possible. Every view, every like, every share helps us tell more stories that matter. You're not just subscribers, you're family. And if you enjoyed this, check out our other powerful African stories in the playlist. More drama, more lessons, more truth coming your way. Remember, real angels don't need cameras, real charity doesn't need applause, and real success doesn't require lies. Until the next story, stay blessed, stay authentic, and stay true. Peace.